Hey, all you comic book fans, welcome back to Comic Book Corner Classic, the channel where I review all classic comic books anywhere from 1999 and older. So welcome to the second video. I thought it was fitting to put a Spider-Man review on here, and what we're going to be reviewing today is What If the Amazing Spider-Man Had Married the Black Cat? This is issue number 21 in the What If series. Actually, it's volume 2. Um, it was made in 1991. If you're looking for value in this book, there is no value. These books have no value whatsoever. It was like $3 in mint condition. However, though, the story is quite good. And if you guys were ever interested in the Black Cat getting together with Peter Parker, which we have seen before like this in recent issues of The Amazing Spider-Man, because I think we all like to see Felicia and Peter together, or a lot of us do. I know about everybody, but Black Cat's that edgy, sexier, brings out the kind of the bad guy in Peter Parker, makes him do things that he shouldn't do. So a lot of us like to see her together with him, and in this particular issue of What If the Amazing Spider-Man issue 21, you get to see that, and you get to see kind of like how their life would have been when they first got married. Now, this book was really good. The story holds up quite nicely, and it's actually a very sad book at the same time. So with that being said, let's go through a walkthrough of the book and see what the story is about. All right, what's up, guys? So basically, we see that in the beginning of this book, they're in Manhattan. I'm sorry, Niagara Falls, New York, and Felicia and Peter are getting married, and Peter's secret is very, very tight, you must say. I mean, no one must know that he gets married to her. Um, Even as Spider-Man, he's got to be in a different costume, and this is a big, big deal. Like, Peter Parker cannot be known as Spider-Man and together with the Black Cat, and that was his one wish that he um, puts on Felicia, and he says, "Please honor this." And Felicia's very, very upset that she can't even be in the same house with him, and she can't be seen in public with him, and things of that nature. Um, in the beginning of the issue, we see, the Watcher. He describes everything of what if the Black Cat and Spider-Man were together, and because in multi-universes, there's different things that happen, and it's really, really cool. It goes into a very good description here on what happened, why MJ broke up with Peter Parker, and part of it was that she was almost killed in the whole ordeal. Um, being around Spider-Man, and Peter thought it would be wise for them to break up, and basically he would get together with Felicia because she's on the same level as he is. Now the funny thing is that like Peter and MJ break up for that reason in recent issues, so it's just funny how it kind of comes true. So Peter thought it would be a good idea to marry her. And, you know, and she's just mad because they work together outside, they do things together as superheroes, but it's not like they can be a married couple, and it's not like they can be in the same household. And Felicia's very upset. I mean, you can see here that, she's upset about the whole thing. Their marriage is just off to a rocky start. And basically, it's Peter's birthday, and when they go back to the house, um, gets a birthday card from Mary Jane. And right away, Black Cat's all jealous of Mary Jane, and she's like, she's trying to get you back. She's trying to split us apart already, and she's trying to do this and do that. And, and she's all jealous and all upset about everything. And what happens is the secret's out about Peter and who he is and who his family members are, and it's just, it's very, very sad of what's going on, because the Vulture comes around and he finds out the secrets, and he goes to Aunt May's house and he blows it up. And Peter gets the phone call and he heads on over there and goes over, and Aunt May's severely injured and he's very upset, and he finds out what's going on. He's like, the Vulture's gonna pay. He's angry. He's frustrated. He's like, the Vulture's gonna pay for what he did. And next you see BlackCat looking out the window, and she was wondering where Spider-Man was supposed to be. Vulture comes through and gasses Felicia, goes and points the gun at her, and the next thing you see is that Spider-Man comes in and whacks him. I mean, he just takes a freaking two fists together and punches him in the back and sends him flying. And he takes off the backpack that gives him the powers to fly. And he goes, "Without your backpack, you're nothing." And the Vulture's like, "Go ahead and kill me." He's like, "I'll die knowing that someone will get you." He's like, "Your wife was too careless with your secrets." So now the Vulture's out there, and he's sitting there telling him that BlackCat let his secret out of the bag. And he goes, and basically what happens here is he's just about to kill. And then you got Sandman, when I guess he was a good guy, Silver Sable, and then, how do you say his name? Paladin. And they're all working together as a team, and they get these bounties on these bad guys, and they go to take them in. Sandman stops Spider-Man from beating the Vulture to death, and Silver Sable is just like, "Yeah, you just wanted the reward for the Vulture, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." So he takes, all of a sudden he just takes off out the window, grabs BlackCat. She's recovering from injury, and right now he goes to BlackCat and he goes, "This was the one thing I told you you couldn't do. You couldn't let my secret out. You couldn't let people know who I am. People were going to get hurt, and that's what happened. And for that, I'm leaving you." And he takes off and he goes, "I'll never forget you." And she starts crying. She's bawling. She's all crying. And you can see that their marriage is just horrible right now. I mean, they should have even never got married for this whole thing. Now, Peter goes to Mary Jane, and he looks at her building, and Mary Jane's looking out the window, and he takes off. He's chicken shit. So next thing we see is that Silver Sable gives Spider-Man a reward money for capturing the Vulture, and they have a talk. They have a heart-to-heart of how his feelings are, and how his uncle got killed, and all kinds of stuff like that. So what happens now is the Vulture's trying to get out of jail. He gets a gun. He starts killing guards, and he's just about to escape. And then all of a sudden, we see a mysterious person here. Is it Spider-Man? And he goes ahead and he kills the Vulture. The Vulture's dead, and the last words out of Vulture's mouth is "Spider-Man," and he's all bloodied and he's all dead. So Spider-Man, or Peter, actually goes to Mary Jane's apartment again. He goes and he wants to talk to her, but she realizes that she is with somebody else at the time, and he just takes off, and he's like, "This was a mistake. Goodbye." Now, towards the end of the comic, we have Sandman blasting Spider-Man, and he's being framed for the death of the Vulture. And at this point, we still don't know who killed the Vulture. And so what happened is Mary Jane comes into the picture, and she says, "I know him. I've known him too long. He would never do this." And Silver Sable's like, "Get out of here, lady, if you know what's best for you." And then all of a sudden, there's all this shooting that takes place, and because Spider-Man's free, and BlackCat comes in and swoops her to try to save her, and it's crazy stuff going on towards the end of the issue here. And then what happens is, you know, Spider-Man thinks, "Cat, you think you're going to make up for this for saving Mary Jane? That's not what's going to happen. We're not going to get back together." And there was sand on the ledge, and what happens is Mary Jane falls, and he has a flashback of Gwen Stacy when she was falling, and all of a sudden Paladin comes in, and he thinks that he thinks that BlackCat was going to kill Mary Jane for some reason, and he shoots her right in the stomach and the heart and everything. And as Mary Jane is rescued by Peter, um, we see that BlackCat was shot, and she just sits there and she goes, you know, I did it. I killed the vulture for you, you know. Um, and she's like, I made him pay for all the bad things that he's done, and you know, she goes, no matter what you may think, it may be done, and I did it. And you could see that she's just bleeding on the floor, and she's not going to make it, and she dies. And Mary Jane is here crying, and you know, channel news comes, asks him questions, and basically, as two people need to be, try to reconcile, and Spider-Man looks for Mary Jane, she takes off, and you don't hear from her again. And Silver Sable just basically takes Peter and says, you know what, we'll get a comet in the morning. And that's what happens. And eventually Spider-Man moves on. He gets over BlackCat's death and Mary Jane. And what happens is there's budding romance between the Silver Sable. And in this multiverse, they kind of get together. And what happens from there? Well, we don't know. But that's the end of the issue. So you see that Mary Jane and Peter don't get back together. The BlackCat dies. The Vulture dies. And Silver Sable and Spider-Man hook up. So, you know, very sad issue, but good issue. It keeps you entertained. Like I said, I don't even remember reading it, and I thought it was very, very good. So it holds up for me in today's standards. And being that I'm a fan of Spider-Man and BlackCat, it was really, really good. So, if you guys are ever interested in What If the Amazing Spider-Man issue 21, go ahead and pick it up. It is a good read. It's a fun read, and I was glad I could do this walkthrough with you guys. So, until the next comic book review, this is Spider Slayer signing off, and thank you for watching Comic Book Corner Classic, and subscribe today. Thanks, guys. Bye.